Okay. Okay. It's okay, Becks. You got this. It's just meeting the forest ranger who's going to be working with you for the next few months. It's fine. You're gonna be together. Just the two of you. In the wilderness. Without anybody else there to help buffer the very awkward social interactions that are sure to take place when it's just the two of us. Alone. This is fine. Oh, goodness. Oh, you scared me. I am so sorry. You're early. I wasn't expecting you to show up here so soon. I thought that we were going to be meeting up in... Oh, goodness. It's already 5 past our meeting time. I am so sorry. I didn't realize that I was the one who was actually late meeting you, and you must have been standing for me, waiting for me in the hallways, and... Right. Deep breaths. Yeah, so sorry. So sorry. I'm just feeling a little, anxious? No, maybe nervous is a little bit of a better word. I just don't typically make great first impressions. Or second impressions. But hey, they do say that the third time is the charm. And I mean, the Fae obviously have a proclivity for the number 3, so it obviously holds some significance in Ashwood Grove, as it's naturally occurring in our magic, and it is also ever present in the spaces the original Fae occupied. And at the same time, the number 3 probably became magical as we consider it to be, because, well, the original folklores weren't written down, and they were instead told orally. So number 3 really makes a lot of sense, because 3 elements or challenges or hindrances, or even names, are just easier to remember, while still creating a powerful narrative. And really, isn't storytelling the greatest type of magic? I'm rambling. Oh, goodness. This is embarrassing. I can't really stop once I get going. It's like the words just spew out of me like throw up or something, and I don't know why I'm talking about that with you when this is our first introduction, and... No, it's fine. I'm fine. I think you're just going to find that my cheeks get very red very quickly, and that's just going to be what I'm working with. Okay. I think that I blew my first impression with you by not coming to get you on time, and now I think that I've blown my second impression with you because I started talking about throw-up, so, let's just go ahead and start over and say that this is impression number 3, shall we? Oh, great. Yeah, okay. So, hi. My name is Becks Speilman, or, Becky, or, Becks. I don't know why I just told you Rebecca. Only my grandma calls me that. And I don't think I've ever gone by Becky in my entire life, and... Oh, right, sorry. Please call me Becks. It's what my friends call me. What everyone calls me. Except for my grandma. But I already said that. Anyways, you must be the new ranger that they assigned to help me for the next couple of months. What's your name? What would you like me to call you? Oh, okay, yeah, that's a lovely name. And your title is Scout? Would you like me to just go ahead and call you that then? Yeah, okay, this is perfect. Well then, I'm really happy that we're going to be working together from now on, Scout. I appreciate you helping me and being a part of this project. Were you given the briefing on what we would be doing in the Queen's Forest? Or should we go ahead and go over that right now? You know, let's just go ahead and go over it again, because I'm worried that maybe I wasn't totally clear on my project proposal, and I just want to make sure that you and I have an understanding, because, well, communication really is going to be the most important thing of us moving forward, and... Right, yeah, no, you're right. I'll just go ahead and get started. So, first of all, like I said earlier, I'm Becks Speilman. I'm a PhD candidate at Ashwood Grove University studying supernaturalism. I'm focusing specifically on the creatures and plants in the Queen's Forest. I am currently working on my dissertation regarding the change in behavior in the creatures who inhabit the Queen's Forest, those specifically who've come in contact with the wards around Ashwood Grove. It's actually quite interesting because I've been looking into the increased attacks and the territorial disputes amongst the creatures in relation to their proximity to the city and the wards. And I believe that there might be some correlation here that really does need to be investigated. You could say that it might be one of the biggest supernaturalistic breakthroughs of our generation. Anyways, enough about my theories. So, what's brought you here? Well, you specifically, I guess? Well, as with all scientific ventures, there is unfortunately a bit of risk that is involved. You know the saying, high risk, high reward. Well, that's going to be the motto for our little excursion. It's actually sort of funny. There were several other PhD candidates and researchers and professors who were supposed to be joining me on this trip. And, well, basically this isn't my maiden voyage for this specific study. But that's okay, don't worry. We just had an unfortunate run-in with an especially territorial slime who decided the party was a threat to their meeting opportunities. And anyways, there was some melted equipment and, some injuries. But, of course, don't worry, everyone made it back to the city and was given the medical care that they needed, so it's not like anyone actually died or anything. I mean, that would have been really tragic, but also at the same time, our mission is essential to providing a better understanding of these creatures and how they work in their natural habitat, so really I would be partaking in this venture again despite the risks involved. But, of course, don't worry, I'm confident that we won't be running into any more territorial slimes. I mean, what are the odds of that happening? 3 times? Oh, look, there's that number again. I guess in this instance, the number 3 isn't very lucky for us. That just might mean that luck was on the side of the slimes and... Oh, right. Yeah. Your role in all of this. Thank you, Scout. So, you were selected by your supervisors at the QFRS for this research trip because you've proven yourself to be both competent in navigating the dangerous terrain of the Queen's Forest, but also in your unique abilities to create wars and handle dangerous situations with a cool head. No pun intended? I am so sorry. Is that offensive? You were in the papers. You were in the papers for rescuing those children who ended up wandering too far past the wards who encountered that Kelpie? I read up on your accomplishments. Despite having an affinity for ice, you were able to create your own variation of wards, which is a spell typically used specifically by Earth Affinity mages. I must confess I'm also quite thrilled at the opportunity to see your thumb control in action. I am curious at how you've been able to keep the chaos potential so low in your spells despite using spell circles designed for other affinities. I think this trip is going to be very enlightening in a lot of different ways. And that said, I am, unfortunately, very mortal. Well, I mean, I guess that isn't a total truth. I am a woman in STEM, after all. But still, if I was a D&D character, strength would be my dump stat. And so would dexterity. And so would constitution. And I guess now that I'm really thinking about it, charisma probably would be one too. Never mind. Forget that analogy. The real point is that I need you to protect me and my studies while I work on gathering research for the dissertation. There is something going on, and we need to identify it so that we're able to protect the people of Ashwood Grove. I am very aware of the dangers associated with this trip. This isn't some sightseeing vacation for me, Scout. "23. There have been 23 attacks this year alone on people who've ventured past the wards. That's an increase of 47% just this year. You already dealt with that Kelpie when it tried to lure those children into the water. But that doesn't mean there have been others who've been as fortunate as they were. This is Susan Kern, a 56-year-old mother of 3 who was caught by a drider's web. There were no recorded attacks before this. The reports have shown the food sources haven't been dwindling, so what was the drider doing so close to the city? This is Jeffrey Black, a 28-year-old musician who ended up encountering a pack of hounds. Hounds have never been known to be social creatures. And again, their food sources have not been diminishing. Jeffrey would have also been considered a very high-risk prey as well, because he was Fae-touched. And yet, he couldn't stop hounds, creatures who are known for being solitary, and for being quiet, and for being afraid of people. Look, there are 21 other cases just like these. Some of the people were lucky. Others weren't. The only thing that all of these incidents have in common is the location. They all happened within the forest, all within 5 miles of Ashwood. We have a duty to make sure that everyone is protected and safe. This can't keep happening. The city and its wards aren't meant to be a prison for us, Scout. So please, believe me when I say that I am very sincere about this trip. If I wasn't serious, do you think that I'd be attempting again after so many failed attempts? I promise you, I may not be able to manipulate Thom into spell circles, but I can do something good by figuring out what's causing these creatures to behave this way. And I think you're the person who can help me. We have to save the city. And everyone here. So, I guess that's it for now. We'll be embarking on our journey into the Queen's Forest next week. Pack light, but pack well. We won't be coming back until we're able to track the abnormalities in the creature's behaviors. So, I guess, what do you say, Scout? Are you ready to save the day and make some history?